Good morning and welcome to A Better World with Julann and Fran. I'm Julann.
And I'm Fran, and our guest today is Mollie O'Brien. Welcome, Mollie.
Hi,
Welcome,
good
Mom.
morning.
Good morning.
And Mollie is Julann's niece, which is why Julann looks so proud right now. That's so sweet. So, Mollie, would you talk a little bit about something you're doing or have done to make the world a better place?
I hope I'm making the world a better place with my job. I'm a public school teacher in Coney Island in the fifth grade. So I hope I'm trying my best
You are.
to try to spread some kindness, teach, you know, important values. A lot of the kids, they like to roast each other. We have a lot of that going on.
Hmm,
Yeah, they play video games online and they like make fun of each other, but like mean-spirited. So we do a lot on kindness and thinking before we speak and things like
Nice.
that.
things like that.
Nice.
So fifth grade, what ages are they?
Um, I've had from like 10 to 13, depending on if like they've been held over in the past. So my school goes from pre-K to fifth grade. So right now they're like the big fish in a little pond, and then we're preparing them to go to middle school next year, where they're little fish in a bigger pond.
Hmm. Wow.
That's great. And what do you teach? Which subjects do you teach?
I teach all of them, the main ones, reading, writing, math, science, social studies. We also do have a social emotional learning program. So that's like something great that the DOE's been working on, having social emotional learning in every school. So my school does Leader in Me, which is based on the 7 habits of highly effective people.
Cool.
Oh,
So that's good.
that's great.
That is
Yes.
great. We often talk about it on the podcast, how it's the little kindness, it's the small gestures that you do. And every day, Molly, you're doing something special, but we always say that it'd be nice to start it in the younger grades. Like, start to teach them kindness and to help each other and to do all those things that I think that we've gotten away from. I listen
Mhm.
to some of the things my granddaughter listens to on some of these. They play roadblocks,
Yeah.
and they have a parental control, so it's only a certain amount. But still, some of the things, I don't know. I think they could be a lot nicer. I think we need some, I guess nobody wants to play the nice games, right? Nobody wants to play, be kind to your neighbor and get extra points. Maybe if we gave them squishies every time they did a good deed, because
Yeah.
that's the new thing now, squishies. Every time we turn around, Isabella wants another squishy. But yeah, it's concerning because by the time they get to high school,
Yeah.
it's kind of not that it's too late, but it's a harder job to teach them to be kind to each other.
Definitely. We talk a lot about like, even it just doesn't it make you feel good? Sorry. When you do nice things, like I feel better when I'm being nice to people. Doesn't
Yeah,
that make you feel good inside?
no,
So
I
we
know.
try to instill that in the kids a lot. I'm hoping it's
Yeah,
getting through to them.
that's good.
I
Well,
think it has to, because the truth is, even though we think we're separate, that, you're your person, Julian is her person, I'm my person, and in this incarnation, we are in separate bodies. In reality, we're all the same spirit. So it should feel good to be kind to each other and to help each other. Because in reality, when you help somebody else, when you do something kind for somebody else, you're also doing something kind for yourself. So it should feel good.
it's true. I helped a woman in Costco yesterday, and she made me switch numbers with her. She has a brogue, and every time I hear a brogue, I think of my parents, and I make them talk to me. I keep them up a conversation. So I said, "Oh, thank you so much. You made my day." And we talk, we exchange numbers. We're going for coffee. We're buddies now. So
Oh,
kind of nice. Yeah, she said, "Thanks. You were meant to help me lift these heavy pots, and I got a friend out of it." So that
oh,
was
that's lovely.
nice. I'm happy. Oh, she was an angel.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and so are you.
Thank
Molly, how long have you been teaching?
This I'm at getting to the end of my fourth year this year.
Mm,
Yeah.
you. Did it go fast, Mom, or no?
Oh, this year went so fast. This year I'm so lucky I'm working with honestly one of my best friends in the building. We make
Nice.
each other laugh all day long, which I think that also like that's good for the kids to see of like adults having like healthy relationships and friendships and like I love going to work every day. I'm going and I'm seeing my friends and we're not just like hanging out together, but obviously like working together and then facilitating conversations and lessons and things for the kids. And I think that makes a really big difference, like having that positive working environment. Oh, because I'm in ICT, so I'm the special ed teacher, and then there's a gen ed teacher, and we're both in the room all day, every day together.
Nice. That's good that you work together. And that's good for them to see that teamwork. Not only are you getting along, but you defer to each other and you can compromise and, do all those things together. So that's really nice. That's a nice way to be.
Yes.
Like
And
last.
yeah, absolutely. What does ICT stand for?
Integrated co-teaching.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to become a teacher?
Um, I always knew that I wanted to work with kids. So on my dad's side of the family with Jewel, I'm on the younger side. Like it's me and my two brothers are the three youngest. But on my mom's side of the family, she's the youngest. She has nine siblings.
Wow.
So yeah, so the same year that I was born, I have a cousin who's 2 months older than me, and then one who's a few months younger than me, and then a lot of cousins who are younger than me. So I've always been around kids and helping out with the kids and playing with them. So I always knew I wanted to work with children. Um, and then in high school, I did like teaching classes where my high school was connected to a grammar school, so we would go and do like not really student teaching, but we would go and volunteer and kind of help out with the teachers and do whatever we could for them. And then I started college, and I was between teaching and I was between that and child psychology. So I did
Mm,
my bachelor's degree in psychology, and while I was doing that, I was in a program to also get my master's degree in 5 years with education, and I just completely fell in love with it. And then also, this is probably not as great, but I've only really ever had one teacher who I didn't love, and I it feels horrible to say on the kindness podcast, but I really hated her. She was mean to me. She was just like from a storybook, like mean teacher. And I
wow.
even remember in the sixth grade thinking to myself and being like, I could do this better than you. Just by being nice to the kids, I could do this better than you. And that was really motivating to me of being like, well, I want to be like I've had the experience of having a teacher who is mean and unkind, and I never want to be that. So I think that also really motivated me to go and be like a positive adult in the world, someone who's nice and kind and, you know, treats children like people. That always surprised me that that was such like a big part of a lot of my classes is like, and remember, kids are people. They have lives outside of the classroom. Like they're not coming to you as a blank slate. Like maybe they had a bad morning or they're coming from, an adverse experience in their life. They're not coming to you just as these blank slates ready for your lesson on fractions.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it makes a big difference too because you love kids. Like even
too.
when we all get together, you see that you have such a joy and so much love for them that it makes a difference when you're teaching, even if you're teaching fractions. You know what I mean? Because you love it so much and you love them, they know that, so they want to be a good student and they want to get it right. So many, not so many, but there are a lot of teachers that take the job just for summers off or whatever. And it's not, they don't like kids. So, you say to yourself, why is she a teacher? Like she hates them, you know what I mean? But we've been blessed with Isabella because she's the young, she's the next generation. So she's in
Yeah.
seventh grade and her teacher is phenomenal. And she's an older woman, you know what I mean? Like not all how do I say this? Sometimes when you're getting closer to retirement, you've had enough. You're at the end of
Yeah.
the rope. You're like, you know what? I liked you guys at the beginning. It's been 40 years or whatever. Now I'm kind of done. And not that she's that old. She's not, but she's so kind. Isabella's had a lot of things go on in her life, and she's just so kind. And what a difference it makes, really. So thank you, Molly, for making a difference. No, really, I'm serious. You make a big difference here when we're all together and in the job that you do. So you're making the world a better place, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
We
some of
very
the
much do.
it, yeah, right. I think some of the kids too, parents are busy, everybody's working, maybe two jobs, maybe it's single parents, to have a good role model, at
Mhm.
school, it makes a big difference. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Now, you mentioned one of the first things that you mentioned among the children is that they roast each other. Is there any kind of a theory as to how that has happened? Why they do that?
I think a lot of it is, at least I know with the population that I work with, a lot of them have unsupervised access to the internet completely. They
Mm,
have their own phone or iPod or iPad or whatever it is, and they have it, and their parents either don't know what they're doing or aren't aware of how much they have access to on the internet. I didn't get a chance to teach before COVID. I was still in college during COVID, so I didn't see as much of a difference as some of my coworkers have seen. But I do think COVID definitely exacerbated the issue. I think that a lot of them see like creators online, like social media stars playing
Exactly.
games with their friends
Toys.
online, and they're telling these honestly horrible jokes. I've had to sit down with kids and be like, if one of my friends said that to me, I wouldn't be friends with them anymore. And I understand you're saying it as a joke, but like, imagine hearing that. Because they'll make comments about like each other's families or the way other people look. They're like, oh, well, I was just roasting them. Like we were going back and forth. I'm like, right, but why would you say that?
Right.
And then because of I'm a special ed teacher, I sometimes have students in my room who have like trouble regulating emotions. So it's like, right, you might have said that as a joke, but then someone else hears that and you've hit a nerve with them, and now the situation's escalating. Now maybe someone's going to get physical, or now they're going out of their way to say the most hurtful thing they can back to you, and we leave the situation and no one feels good. We
Right.
all are just upset and mad at each other. So I think a lot of them are doing it thinking that they're being funny or trying to make a connection or maybe even make like someone else who's watching the interaction laugh,
Right.
and not really taking into account each other's feelings. Because when they see people online do it, it's like, oh, well, they don't get upset. It's like, right, but those are like two adults and they're kind of at work
Yeah, and
and
they're
they're not,
play acting or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, it's not real life. I noticed that even when I go out to eat, all the adults, especially people my age, they're all on their phones. Like I like to go out to eat and we all sit and talk to each other. Even
Mhm.
Isabel, she'll say, "Can I have my phone or can I?" No, no, we color, we play hangman, we do whatever. But school is a lot of computers too now. The kids work so much on computers, and I think that it hurts kids a little. Again, what do I
Oh, definitely.
because they don't know how to interact anymore. No one, like Theo, my grandson is going to be 4 and he has special needs. And we teach him, you say, "Hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm Theo. What's you're trying to teach him how to interact with people. And
Mhm.
we go to a store and he says, "Hi, I'm Theo. What's your name? Nice to meet you." Whatever. And before you know it, the whole place, the mood shifts. Everybody. Now we have to say, you only say that once. You know what I mean? You can't say it 14 times because it's getting annoying. But I think that kids are lacking socially. They don't know how to interact anymore. Nobody looks at anybody. Nobody. I think that we need to do a little bit more old school teaching too. I think because where are
Definitely.
we in the big scheme of things, right, Mal? I mean, we're
Mhm.
not at the top anymore. We're somewhere at the bottom, and I think maybe we need to take some lessons from some of the places where they're, you know, top of the top of the crop. You know,
No, I definitely see that. A lot of, or not a lot, this year my kids have been pretty good at socializing with each other, like, especially like the day before winter break or when it's Halloween or something like a holiday. We have a cart in the room that charges the laptops because unfortunately, especially in fifth grade, we are so reliant on the technology. Like the New York State tests, they have to be taken on the computer now. Like even
Mm.
as an accommodation for like a student's IEP, I can't recommend or mandate that they take it on pen and paper. They all have to take it on the computer, which is its whole own issue. It
Yes,
is
I bet.
not beneficial for the kids. It's for like regulatory systems to get and grade things more easily.
Yeah, that's right. It's faster. Sure.
But we'll have days where it's like, okay, like we're just gonna have a fun day today. Like we have coloring sheets, we have mazes, we have board games, we have all these different activities for you guys to do. Like the biodegradable packing peanuts. If you put water on those, you can make sculptures. Like we have a
Oh,
giant bag of those that they can sit and play with.
Nice.
And this year they've been pretty good at like sitting and socializing and they're able to chat with each other. But I've had previous years where we'll do that for like 20 minutes and a kid's asking me, well, when can I go get my laptop?
Exactly.
mm,
Like,
That's
what do
it.
you mean? Go sit and talk to someone. They're like,
Right.
well, but I want to go online. I want to play games. I'm like, well, that's not what we're doing today. Today you have to sit and talk. And
Right.
even I do. So like at the end of the day, we dismiss at 2:20, but we have to go down. Like we start leaving my classroom at 2:07. So after they pack up, we usually have like some downtime. So I have a stack of cards from one of our old social emotional learning programs, and they're called conversation cards. And in the beginning of the year, I have to sit and give them rules and say, okay, this is the conversation card. I'm going to ask you a question. Do not you don't have to answer the question, but anyone who wants to can. After someone answers the question, we're going to get at least one person to ask them a question. Then the next person can go. When you answer my question, please don't answer it with something that you wouldn't be comfortable telling your adult, our principal, you know, all these people. Please don't give me some crazy answer that I'm going to have to go tell someone about.
Right.
But we have to like explicitly practice. This is how you have a conversation. Like when someone else is speaking, everyone else has to put their hands down. You can't turn and have a side conversation with your friend. We're listening to this person's answer. You can go next, but they're speaking now. And like this is fifth grade. Like they're 10 years old, the youngest of them, 9, 10 years old. So that's always something that surprises me in the beginning of the year when we start doing it, that it's, oh, like I don't know how many of my students someone is sitting at home and having a conversation with them. And even that is so sad. But then
Isn't it?
it is all the one nice thing from it is the kids do always get like super into it. And if I'm ever doing something at the end of the day, they're like, well, can we do the conversation cards, Miss O'Brien? I don't. They're like, can you stop whatever you're doing and do this with us? And I
That's
always try to make time to do at least like 2 or 3 at the end of the day with them because it is such like an easy way to build classroom community and get to know the kids, but it's
right.
also giving them such like life skills. Like you need to know how to
Exactly.
talk to people.
Right. That's great. That's really great.
yeah, that if nothing else, I mean, everything you're doing as a teacher is making the world a better place, but I think that all by itself is huge.
Hmm.
Because so often, as I think you began to mention earlier, Jewel, when you see families at a restaurant and you think you're there for the evening together or the lunch together, and they're all on their own devices, and it's just so sad.
We went to one place and the child was a child that had special needs. And the whole time, the kid was watching a phone, standing up, you know, paying attention to the phone. And I thought to myself, it must be so hard when a child has special needs because it's a constant, you're constantly paying attention. It's not like some kids you can put on the Wiggles and get 10 minutes to have a cup of coffee, but that isn't always the case with special needs, you know? So I try to see it, but maybe if you could, I don't know, compromise, like reading a book. That's one of my favorite things. Getting a flashlight, going under the blanket or under a tent and reading an old-fashioned book. Not doing, because my granddaughter has to do one night reading and one night Lexia on the computer. But I like that because it gives them an opportunity to, I don't know, interact and do something different, not always be on the screen. But one of the things, Molly, that you're doing too is you're building their confidence because I notice with Theo, he won't know what to say. Like sometimes we'll be in a conversation and he'll want to be a part of it. and his go-to is what's your favorite color? You know, so he'll blurt out when people are talking or we're doing something, what's your favorite color? So we'll stop and we'll talk about it. But then I say to him, there's a lot of things you could ask. How was your nap? How is your day going? Or so I
Mhm.
try to help him figure things out. And I think what you're doing is building their confidence. So when they get to sixth grade and they're the little fish in the bigger pond, they'll have a little bit of I don't know, confidence to talk and, ask somebody, where's the library or whatever.
Hmm.
That's
And
nice.
I tell my students too, like I'm someone who's too like exceptionally extroverted. So like a lot of my students, because they're going from this elementary school of, I think we have 520 kids from pre-K to fifth grade, like still relatively small, to now a middle school where they maybe no one from their graduating class is going, maybe they don't know anyone. And I tell my students, I'm like, do you know what I did? I went to college and I didn't know anybody, and high school. So do you know what I did when I sat down? I said, hi, my name is Molly. What's your name? Here's my phone number in case I'm
Right.
ever absent and I need notes. I go, the
Great.
person sitting next to you probably doesn't know anyone either, and is saying to themselves, oh, thank God, now I have someone to talk to in class. I go, but you just have to put yourself out there
That's
because a
right.
lot of people won't. And they always look at me like I have six heads. I'm like,
That's
just
great.
try.
Try
They're like,
it.
well, they're gonna be mean. What if they roast me? What if
So
they're
go to the
mean to
next
me?
person.
Right. I'm like, well, if someone came up to you and said, hi, my name is, would you immediately look at them and start talking about how they look? Or would you be like, oh, thank God I have someone to talk to? It's like, you don't need to be friends forever, but at least now you know one more person than you did before. And they
That's what I
like
tell
can't
Isabella.
believe that.
We go to the park and she's like, I know her, or I think I know her. I said, so go talk to her. No, Grandma, why don't you come with me? I said, Isabella, go over and say, do you want to play? You know what I mean? And I'm sure she'll say, well, what if she's mean? Then ask another girl,
Then go away.
boy, or whatever. Run around and play. It's
Yeah.
hard. I'm sure it's hard for them too. They get nervous or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah. But I think a lot of them don't have those soft skills. Like I know some of my students have said, because I asked them like, "Oh, what did you do over the weekend? Like, what did you get up to?" And they just look at me. I'm like, "Did you just sit in a room and go, oh, I can't wait to see Miss O'Brien on Monday?" And they laugh. I'm like, "Okay, so what did you do?" Um, and it's shocking how many of them will be like, "Oh, I went to a restaurant." Okay, what restaurant? Like you have
What'd you
to like
eat?
everything take it out of them. And I think a lot of that is just rooted in, like we said before, like so everyone's so zoned in on their own technology that they're forgetting, oh, we do have to teach our kids explicitly like how to have conversations. Like they don't know how to do that implicitly.
Even when Ryan was in school, and Ryan's 32 now, when he was in school, he'd come home from school and I'd say, how was your day? Fine. What'd you learn? Nothing. So today, who'd you eat lunch with? Why do you ask me every day, who do I eat lunch with? Because then you have to tell me a name and then we talk. And that's how, you see, this is how it goes. All right.
Hmm.
And what'd you eat? Did you get something different? You know what I mean? Just, I don't know. Trying
Yeah.
to talk to them, even going on an adventure, taking the kids out, taking a magnifying glass, just walking to the corner. Leo, my youngest grandchild, I just had him on Friday, and he's a tiny little guy. He was 1 in January, and all as soon as he sees me, he says, "Go, go, go." We put our shoes on and we walk in the driveway. He just wants and
Yeah.
because it's fun, and people are busy. They don't have time anymore to do those things, and kids don't want to do them. Isabella, you want to go to the library? No, Grandma, I don't want to go
Oh,
to the library. I know it's very
we
sad.
just did because I have fifth grade, so like the graduating seniors, and we have like all little activities for them. Like we did a concrete beach day in our schoolyard. We did field day at Lincoln High School. We did like a senior trip to like a little arcade, and it's always so crazy to me when the kids come to me like, I don't like on beach day. They're like, I'm bored. I don't want to do this.
I
I'm
hate
Hmm.
that.
like, I can go upstairs and we can do like
Do math.
classwork.
We
You
do
want to go do
fractions.
classwork? Or do you want to sit in the sun and paint seashells? Like, oh,
Oh
and walk
my,
away from me. I'm like, are you kidding?
I don't know. That's one thing I don't tell me you're bored. Really don't tell because I say I have chores. Do you want to sweep the
Yeah.
kitchen? She's like,
There's
no.
always
Say
stuff
that.
we could be doing.
I don't know. I don't know. This house is like Toys R Us. When Caitlin brings her daughter, she's 4. We were sitting at dinner the other night and she says, I'm bored. I said, don't ever say that in front of me. What? Look around. There's so many things you could be doing. We have a swing set, we have a trampoline. There's books here. I don't know. I hate that, but whatever. Bored. I hate that word.
Well, I wonder what's happened that has gotten kids to the point where they hate the idea of reading or going on the swings or jumping on a trampoline. I mean, there was a time we would have considered that funish.
Well, they don't. They
Mhm.
love the reading is a little harder, you know.
Oh.
They don't want to read, but they want to do. Theo says, Grandma, can I come to our park? Because that's what
Hmm.
he calls it now. We just got
Oh,
so it's got 2 slides and 4. It's really, really cool. And
mhm.
they play all day long and they're out all the time. They never want to come in. But when there's a downtime, I notice these kids, even young kids, reach for their iPads.
Hmm.
They don't think to let's
Mhm.
go outside and jump rope or, whatever, which I'm going to get jump ropes for this weekend too, because we're having
Mhm.
a family barbecue and we're going to jump rope. I think that'll be fun.
I think because there is so much available at their fingertips. Like, I mean, I even find it with myself. Like, if I'm waiting for, I don't know, my oven to warm up, I'm like, oh, I'll just pick up my phone and scroll through TikTok. And it's like, well, that's a mindless activity,
And
Molly. Why
now
don't
it's
you do
45 minutes
anything
later.
else? Yeah. And I really can't imagine. I say it all the time, like me and my coworkers talk about it. I would I wouldn't want to be a kid today. I can't imagine being a kid today being, because it is so addictive as an adult to have that when you're so young and your brain is still developing, to have such easy access to technology. And even like my coworkers and I were talking about how everything's instant gratification. Like we can't really give the kids a hard time about not having patience or not being able to sit and be bored for 2 minutes, because that's always something the teachers are talking about now. As soon as the kids finish something, they're going, okay, what do I do now? It's like, well,
Oh.
can you reread what you just wrote? Can you check
Right.
it? Can you make sure it makes sense? And I think so much of that comes from, well, even something as simple as like when I wanted to go see a movie, okay, well, either I had to convince my mom to go to the video store on the corner and go rent it, or I had to go to my brothers, convince my brothers that they wanted to see the same movie I wanted to go see, and then all three of us had to go and convince my mom to get in the car and take us to the movies. And then you had to figure out, okay, what time is the movie showing at? Like you still had to wait. Whereas now,
Online.
if a
You
kid
got to
wants
wait
to watch a
online too.
movie,
You don't have
yeah,
to
you
wait
get to wait
online.
online.
You get the tickets on your phone. You
Or
just
now, if you want to watch a movie, okay, like let's pull it up on the TV or the phone or the iPad, and it's right away. There is so much of the patience that we just learn through living life every day has been eliminated, which is great when you're an adult and you're doing a million things. And oh, I need to pick up my groceries, so I'm going to do, the pickup at Target and then run here and run there. But as a kid, you're not really learning of like, oh, sometimes I have to wait
patience.
online and I have to entertain myself or turn and talk to someone or whatever it may be. So I think that's also part of it. If they don't have the practice of waiting and sitting with themselves, or just even, I think that's also part of why reading is so hard for some of them. They haven't exercised their imaginative muscles since they've been
Hmm.
so young. And in the schools, which it gets me so upset, for early education, so many of them are moving away from play, which is really how kids should be learning, through imaginative play and working together and building those soft skills. And now they're moving towards like much more academic rigor, which we don't, not that we don't need, of course we need
Right.
it, but
There should be a
you're
balance.
missing out on those skills of how am I going to, in fifth grade, how am I going to work with a buddy on a group project when I never sat in pre-K and had to work with, well, you have the toy I want to play with right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that even going back to the phones, I'll watch TV and of course my phone's plugged in right there and I'll be like, I wonder how old he is. Like I do that. And I think of
Yeah.
my dad all the time because he loved when we got our first computer, it was, I can't think of the name of it, in Carter, I think. It was a big deal. I mean, it was unbelievable. And he spent so much time sitting there looking. at all the things you could learn. So now, I want to know how old Sam Elliott is or what year
Mhm.
this movie came out. And I don't even have to type. I ask Siri, hey
Yeah.
Siri, what? And she gives it right to me right away. And I was like, my father would really, really love that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's good and bad like anything else, right?
Yeah. Well,
We
something
got
that
the
I thought
benefit.
was interesting, I recently heard someone on like a podcast talking about how, especially with younger kids, we should be treating the technology and their use of it almost like dessert. Like, yeah, it's something great to have once in a while. Like, we
Right.
shouldn't be having it every day because it's not good for us. Which, of course, it has like upsides and it's so useful in some ways, but also it is like I don't want my students, and even my mom watches my cousin's son Luca a couple of times a week, and like I don't have a TV in my apartment, and his mom is so happy about that. She's like, oh yeah, like, oh, because you don't want them to be sitting and looking at the
Happen.
screen. Like, we
That's
want to
right.
play with him and be talking to him. So
It's true.
it's hard. It's hard when it's so easy and everything's so streamlined with technology, but then we know, like, especially for kids, it's not the best for their growth and development.
There was something, a YouTube, um, now it's popular that people play with toys. So you hear a woman in the background and she's holding, I had to look at it, holding a Barbie and a whatever, and she's,
Mhm.
and you're watching people play with toys. Play with your own toys. Why are you watching some
Yeah.
lady play with toys? Grandma, it's fun. How is it fun? You're just sitting here. Let's go play with toys. We'll, make I don't know, whatever. I guess I'm
Yeah.
old-fashioned that way. I think that, like you said, we need to take away a little bit, go outside and play. I saw something, probably
Yeah.
online. They took aluminum foil and they made a long, like, pathway at the curb and they filled it with water and ducks and toys and kids played. How easy is that? Everybody's got tin foil. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be anything. It was so cool. I said we have to try that when they're all together. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know in another podcast if I do it.
Well, remember when we were kids and it had rained or somebody had emptied their pool or something and there was a tr like right off the curb there was a stream of water. We'd put our popsicle sticks in it and have boat races, you know?
I remember the schoolyard used to fill up with water because it was, it didn't have good drainage or whatever, and we would goof around in the water and play there.
Oh,
We always played frisbee and, we were always outside playing. That was my thing. I got up in the morning. I couldn't wait to go out and play with my friends.
absolutely.
They don't call for each other. There's no such thing. Like Molly said, you have to play dates and all this other baloney. You can't just go outside and play, knock on someone's
Mhm.
door. There's a good Sebastian Maniscalco. If anybody ever watched him, there's one where people come to the door. If your company come and the mother has the cake that she saves and you're not allowed to eat it, but someone knocks on the door and everybody's like, "Are you expecting?" No, I'm not. And they're like commandoing because they don't know what to do. Really, really funny. If you get
Yeah,
a chance to watch it,
I think I've seen that one.
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Molly. That's wonderful that you are a teacher and that you wanted to be a teacher and that you're teaching them such valuable lessons in addition to the subjects that you have to teach, but you're really teaching them to be in this world. And that is really a beautiful thing to do. So thank you so much for doing that.
Better.
Thank you.
And Julann, do you have any final questions?
Oh, let's see, Molly. If there was something that you would want the parents who listen to take away today, or something that you think that they could do to help their kids in school, what would it be?
Just talk to them. That's what I like. Honestly, I tell a lot of my parents, like, talk to your kids. There are so many skills that they learn from just having conversations. Like
Mhm.
in fifth grade, a huge part of our reading program or our reading skills and the standards that we're teaching towards are based in inferencing. So, like, even if you're sitting and watching TV with your kids and someone's like slamming cabinets and the door and they're stomping around, pause it and go, oh, how do you think that character feels? Oh, I think they feel mad. Oh, why do you think that? Oh, well, they were slamming the door and they're yelling. And someone, they just got in trouble in the last scene when they were doing whatever. That's inferencing. That's a skill that then we can apply when they're reading. But if everyone's individually doing their own thing around the house on their own devices, then you're just consuming the media and we're not necessarily thinking about it. So I think just a huge part of it is just talking to your kids, having conversations with them, because I understand everyone doesn't have the time or the means to go out and do things with their kids, but just talk to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can always talk. Thank you, Molly.
Yeah, that's
Thanks for being
beautiful.
our guest. It
Thanks.
was really great.
Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. This has been another episode of A Better World with Julann and Fran and our guest, Mollie O'Brien, our very special guest. Please like and share this video, and please join us again next week, won't you? So long for now.
Bye.
Bye.